Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're here today to unravel the concept of leading others. Together with me is,
Abdel Musa Bakay Sise.
and I am Abubakar Bari. We are both final year students at African Leadership University. Moving forward, we believe that before we go to the universe to face the realities, it's essential for us to understand what it means to lead others and to lead self. And in leading others, we believe it's centered around inspiring, engaging, and motivating people to achieve a common vision, a goal that will benefit the community positively. To start with, today we want to make sure that we focus on four different leaders, which centered around different times of Africa. Pre-colonial Africa, the struggle for independence, the post-independence era, and that of the 21st century. To start with, pre-colonial Africa, we choose King Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa was the king for the Mali Empire during the 14th century. And based on history, he is one of the most weightless men to ever live on earth. Moving forward, we meant to understand that Mansa Musa took power or assumed power after his predecessor went to the ocean to seek some knowledge and he never returned. But during his reign, he was able to achieve a lot through architectural design, education by making sure that it provide educational facilities for his people. And it was well known for his weightless pilgrim trip to Mecca, of which he took a lot of goals and people with him. Some of his key milestones which he achieved while he was the king was monumental architectural development by building mosques, universities, global exposure of the Mali Empire to the universe, the unification of the Mali Empire through religious um, concept by making sure that all of the majority of them become Muslims. Lastly, it was able to improve the access to education through providing scholarship for its people. Next up, we were looking forward to unraveling the identity and that of the leadership style of Mansa Musa. To start with, we believe he was a traditional leader who believes in education and was protecting the sovereignty of African-minded development. Also, his leadership style falls between laissez-faire, autocratic, pace-setter, and visionary. It was visionary because we believe it was result-oriented and progress-focused as a leader and inspirational. Next up, we want to talk about his strength and weakness. Some of his strength was financial stability. We meant to understand that he was a kind-hearted individual and result-oriented leader. However, contrast to this, Mansa Musa was a lavish spender because he had a lot of wealth, which created space for people to start noticing the Mali Empire. Next up, he was unable to invest in long-term investment that results to the richness or the wealthy of his lineage to dissolve within the second or third century after his death. Okay, moving forward was the struggle for independence. Kwame Nkrumah was the first elected president and also the first prime minister of, also the prime minister of Ghana that led Ghana to independence in the year 1957. After assuming this position, he was pushing for Africa unity. And as a result of this, one of his achievements was centered around what? Founding the Organization of African Union in 1963, which is today known as the African Union. Next up, he built the first ever medical school, which is the Ibadan Medical School in Ghana. As a result of this, he was elected as president in Ghana in 1960 and also a winner of the Lenin Peace Award Prize in 1993, even when he was already dead. Some of his identity fall within Pan-Africanism because he was pushing for the development of Africa. Next up was neo-colonialism. What does that mean? Kwame Nkrumah was looking for a space where after independence, Africa should own and take responsibility of its affairs with less involvement of colonizers. His leadership falls within autocratic, transformational, visionary, and above all, coach. Why do we think Kwame is a coach? Because even as of today, he is serving as that Pan-Africanist who is a motivation to us Africans. And also, it was transformational because it was challenging and communicating certain things that were not necessary or that was not supporting the African mindset and pushing for the African independence of all African states in the continent. His strength was centered around intellectuality. As you can see from his biography, Kwame spent 12 years in the Western world to being educated. We believe that he was a mission-driven leader because he pushed for Africa unity, pushed for independence of Ghana, which he achieved throughout his life. It was also innovative because during that time, for you to challenge colonial leaders is difficult. However, some of his weakness was that he was later classed as a dictator, which to a major extent need to be researched. And lastly, he was classed as what? A self-driven, focused leader, of which he was only focusing on his goal. So at this point in time, I would like to call on Abdel to talk about the other leaders.
Thank you so much, Abubakar. So going further, we're talking about immediate post-independence era, and we'll be talking about Thomas Sankara. So Thomas Sankara seized power in the year 1983 and popularly supported COPE at the age of 33. And also, Thomas Sankara was a military commander, revolutionary, and also a Pan-Africanist. Thomas Sankara he was chosen as a prime minister in 1983, and also in that year he was arrested. And after the arrest, some group of revolutionaries staged a popular coup to take on the government on his behalf. And going next, we'll be talking about his milestone achievements. So some of his milestone achievements are Thomas Sankara brings in revolutionary and democratic power to Burkina Faso, and he also improved education, women empowerment, and decrease in infant mortality. And also planted 10 million trees in his first year in office in order to halt environmental issues. And lastly, he successfully composed the national anthem of Burkina Faso. So next, we'll be talking about his identity and leadership style. So for his identity, um, he is a communist and Pan-Africanist, and is military focused, sensitive and passionate lover. He is strict, self-reliant, and inspiration and motivate, and he motivates people. And for his leadership style, he is a person who is Paseseta, is a democratic leader, is a servant who is there to help the people in any kind of way, is a visionary, and also an autocratic leader. So going down to his strengths and weaknesses, Thomas Sankara was an open-minded leader, and he was also a charismatic and a very iconic figure. He was so educated, so simple to deal with, and above all, he has great solidarity. And also for his weaknesses, he was having too much confidence in himself, and there were a lot of criticism behind him. And going next is His Excellency President Paul Kagame. So Paul Kagame is the president of Rwanda, and he presided over the East African Community from 2018 to 2021, and he now serves as the chairman of both Commonwealth and other NEPA heads of states. So going next is talking about his milestone and what he has achieved. So he improved the Rwandan economy by 45.6% from 5.77 billion in 2010 to 8.4 billion in 2016. And also he received the Lifetime Achievements Award for igniting the desire of better life in youth. And also he led the AAC from 2018 to 2021 and AU from 2018 to 2019. He was also awarded the Global Citizen Award by the foundation of former US President Bill Clinton in 2010. And lastly, he lifted over 1 million of people out of poverty between the time from 2008 to 2012. So going next is his identity and leadership style. His identity is a Roman Catholic, a military intelligence person, African development minded, Pan-Africanist, and educational leader. And for his leadership style, he is a visionary leader, faceta, democratic leader, and autocratic leader. And so for the autocratic leader, he is always ready and self-focused in whatever he wants to achieve. And so Going next, we'll be talking about his strengths and weaknesses. So for his strength, he's educated and intelligent. He's very educated president and all. He's famous and influential. He's result oriented. He's disciplined, mission driven, and content minded. And for his weaknesses, there has been so many criticism from the outside world. Going next, we'll be talking about the key lessons that we've learned.
So yeah, after observing these four different leaders, we meant to understand that all of them were developing, focusing on social development, which centered around developing their humans, their citizens, infrastructure, and environment. Next up was what? The visionary leaders. They were all visionary leaders because they were looking forward to progress and inspirational things.
And next, they were all Pan-Africanists and they have that mindset in development and unification. And lastly, they were all educated and disciplined, and also they were military person, religious, and also modern knowledge. So this is a presentation for today, and we thank you all.